Alright, good morning everybody. We'll wait for a while before we start so we can at least have a few people online to join us, then we can proceed from there. Alright, good morning everybody. You're welcome to today's class. Today being the last day of for this course, so we're going to go over this little slide, and then we'll go over every other thing we've learned before over the course of this project, everything we've learned so far. So basically I want us to go over the do's and don'ts of web design. This is very, very important to put at the back of our mind, because if you don't keep these simple principles in mind, you will just keep designing and then you will not have any optimal website. You won't have a website that's performing optimally. So those are the things you want to consider very, very important. You want to be sure you have these principles in your mind all the time when you are designing, even before you start your project. You already know, your web design doesn't start when you sit on the system and you open WordPress and you start designing and all of that. No, your web design journey starts when you immediately you start thinking about the project. Maybe when you get that contract, when you get that gig to build a website, or when you have that gig to start up a website. That's when the web designing journey starts. Everything begins from there because you um that's when you start saying, okay, how do I go about this project? How do I go about this particular website? How do I want this website to look? What are those things that are going to be on this website? Those are the things you want to, you know, put at the back of your mind when you're designing, all right? So, um, that said, this presentation is going to cover key principles and practices for successful web design, highlighting essential do's and don'ts to elevate your online presence. So, those are the things you want to put in your mind. You want to put these simple principles in your mind so that you don't end up designing a website that doesn't perform optimally. So everything we are going to be learning today, they are not anything new. Nothing here today is going to sound strange or sound foreign. Everything is going to be mostly repetitions of things you've heard before, things you've learned in class, things you've learned while we've been doing this theoretical class and everything. But now I want you to just take key note of this particular um, things so that when you're working anytime, you want to be sure of what you're doing, and then you put that at the back of your mind that these ones are the do's and don'ts, things you must ensure you do, things you must ensure, the rules you must ensure you don't break, and things like that. All right. So we want to check the first do, which is ensure your website adapts perfectly to all um, devices from smartphones to tablets and desktop. So this is an importance of responsive design. And then we can't mention this enough. We've said this over and over and over and over and over and over again. We've said so many things about um, a responsive design. We've talked about having a responsive design as many times as we could. Your design has to be responsive in a way that when they are viewing it on a mobile device, it shows perfectly and it fits perfectly on a mobile device. When they check the same website on a desktop device, it is optimal, it is also responsive, it shows very good, very um, well on the desktop device too. It fits perfectly, it goes to landscape mode, and then the details are bold enough to read and all of that. So you have to put all those things in mind. You have to always do that. Ensure the adaptation of your website. So another thing is you don't want to ignore your responsive design. Why? Because um, when you do, your website is going to be difficult to navigate on smaller, maybe on smaller devices or on bigger devices. Maybe your design was made for smaller device without consideration of the bigger devices, or the other way around. You made your design for desktop and then it's not so well for smaller screens. Maybe they are too big or they are too small. Those are the things you want to avoid. So you want to ensure that you always um, make your design responsive so that you don't end up having a website that is not usable across all platforms. Now, optimal use of white space. You see, this thing cannot be overemphasized. Utilize white space to guide the eye and improve readability and enhance visual appeal of your website. If you remember, I don't know if everybody knows what white space means. White space simply means those negative spaces, those spaces between your text, those empty spaces on your screen. Let me put it that way. Those empty spaces on your screen. Now, if we look at this my slide now, right, from here to here is what we would consider as white space, and then from here to here is what we consider as white space. You know, we can decide when we are designing, we can decide not to put this do and don't in front of each other and put this do and don't under here. But if you put this don't under here now, you will see that the visual element is no longer balanced. Why? Because now when you put this one here, when you put this don't here, the whole of this side becomes empty, and then between here and here becomes fully choked up. So that's you not spreading out your white space evenly. Those things are very important when you're designing. You want to put that at the back of your mind. That's why if you notice all the practicals we've been doing when we're designing, I always ensure to use middle alignment, middle justification, everything be in the middle so that we can have that white space up here and down here. So those things are very, very important. You want to put it at the back of your mind. You don't want to say you put this one here, this don't, you put it under here now, and then you now have completely empty half of the screen. Meanwhile, the other half of the screen here is now so filled up. So you want to avoid things like that. So don't overcrowd your website with too many elements, making it visually overwhelming and too difficult to navigate. Now, I just talked about using white space, right? So one thing that is very important is if you have too many information about that to put on a particular page, I've told you before, you can always put a button that says read more, learn more, or view more, or get to know us more. All those kind of buttons can easily help you reduce the amount of information or elements you want to put on a particular page. Now imagine having a page whereby from the top here to bottom here is filled with pictures, text and everything without any space. It becomes too overwhelming for your reader to even say they want to read, or they want to go through your website and do the right thing they are supposed to do. So those things are very important to put at the back of your mind. You want to use your white space effectively. You want to use your screen effectively in a way that you don't put too many things on it. You don't overcrowd your screen. You don't overcrowd your page. Every column should perform their duties, but then if elements are becoming too much, you can always move it to another column. Let it be in another place where they can easily just go there and read after maybe clicking learn more or read more or anything like that. So you want to put that at the back of your mind. Very, very important. Alright. So effective typography and font choices. Now, I don't know if you noticed that all through the time we've been designing, we've been just using our basic fonts, no special typography that is maybe hard to read or anything like that. You can be stylish, of course, undoubtedly you can be stylish, but then you want to put in mind that you are not your user, you are not your reader. So you want to make sure you use a typography that is readable to everybody, that even if a grammar should visit your web page, they don't have to have any what do I call it, any design orientation to be able to read your page. You don't have to start learning how to probably you don't have to start learning how to read your R as R, or they have to ask somebody that, please, what did you write here and stuff like that. You have to put that at the back of your mind that the typography and font choices are very important. Typography in the sense that what's your font width, what's your font size, what's the color you are putting on your font. All those things are very, very important. You want to ensure color contrast on your text. Let your text contrast the background very well, so that um, people that are coming to your web page can easily read whatever you have on your web page without having to strain their eyes, squint, or zoom in or anything. Mere looking at it, they should be able to read everything. Those are the things you want to put at the back of your mind. So select fonts that are legible and appropriate for the website's tone and style. So you already know that you can't design a website um, for a corporate organization and then you are using um, fonts that are stylish or funky. Those things are they don't go together. You have to use fonts and typography that are appropriate for a particular style of website you're designing. So those things you want to put at the back of your mind. Don't use too many fonts resulting in visually chaotic and confusing experience. Now, another thing that people do that is very, very problematic when it comes to web design is you will use all your headings now. Maybe you are using a particular type of font, and then subheading you are using a particular type of font, then body text you are using a particular type of text, and then I move on to the next column, and then a completely different set of fonts entirely comes to my screen. It becomes a problem. You don't even know which one is which one again. So those things are very important. You want to put that at the back of your mind that you are not going to be using um, too many you are not going to be using too many fonts. You are not going to be using too many font styles, font weights, and all of that. You don't want to confuse your user, so that when they come, they can have that seamless experience. So don't use too many fonts, resulting in visually chaotic and confusing user experience. So you want to put that at the back of your mind that your page should be as simple as possible, as minimal as possible, so that you don't end up creating a website that is not usable or that people can't navigate easily. I hope we are jotting things down and all of this, because those are the things you want to put at the back of your mind beyond your graphic design skills, beyond your tech skills, your beyond knowing how to just design a website. These principles are very important. You don't just want to slap everything on your screen just because you can. I hope we understand that. All right. So high quality and relevant imagery. Now, you see, emphasis on relevant imagery. You don't just want to put image just because you can, just because there is a space. Maybe you are using a theme for your design, not just because there is a space for pictures there on the theme, and then you just want to put a picture there. No, and then you end up to go and put a picture that is not relevant. No, 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 no. You don't do that. And then another thing is high quality imagery. I can't overemphasize this one, because people get turned away because of low quality imagery. Once people are used to a particular standard of imagery, if they don't get that standard on your web page, it becomes they begin to see everything you do as substandard. So you want to put that at the back of your mind that okay, you are going to be using, first of all, relevant images, and then when you find your relevant images, make sure you are using a very high quality, not just any picture, but the ones that are relevant to what you're doing and the ones that are high quality. That is very, 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 very important. So incorporate visually appealing and relevant images that enhance your website's content and aesthetics. Um, like I just explained, you have to put pictures that are appealing, that are visually appealing, And then another thing is they are relevant to what you are trying to portray. You don't just put an image because you like that picture, you just put it there. If it's not relevant for that particular page, for that particular landing page, then don't do it, don't use it. Use something that will help your storytelling. You know, everything we've been learning about, everything we've been learning is been all about visual storytelling. It's been all about learning how to tell a story with your web page in a way that when people come, they get to learn something, they get to have a journey, they get to have an experience on your page. So you want to use a picture or pictures that are now maybe take their attention away from the main context of the page, and then maybe they get carried away by the picture, and then they're no longer interested in whatever you want to see on the website again. They just want to maybe look at the picture, or maybe it's a meme you put on your page, and then it becomes a very big distraction, or whatever it is that, or it might even be the fact that it is irrelevant that is going to be the distraction. People start thinking, what's this image for? What's this? What's that? What's that? And then their mind is taking off um, what the main point is. So those are the things you want to put at the back of your mind, at the back of your mind. So don't use pictures that are not relevant to your context, and don't use low quality image. Oh, damn. All right, intuitive navigation and user experience. Okay, so you want to, we've already spoken about this before, that you want people to be able to navigate your web page easily. You want people to have a good user experience when they come to your web page. So that thing is very, 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 very important, to have a very good navigation and user experience. Now, you when you're designing, you want to ensure that your navigation is as seamless as possible. People don't have to do too much to see your content. People don't have to do too much to be able to get the main point you are trying to let them get. So it has to be like that. So design a clear and intuitive navigation menu that guides user effortlessly through your website. Now, your menu style has to be something you want to put at the back of your mind even before you start designing at all. Your menu style, you want to, like, if you remember when we were designing in class, the first thing I said was, okay, what are we supposed to have? We're supposed to have a menu here, and then that menu will now tell us, okay, how many columns are we supposed to have? If we are supposed to have bookings, sessions, classes, um, every other thing that was, or membership. So all those things, now once you have, in fact, that having a very good menu helps you with your design a lot. Now, if you have an intuitive navigation system, that's you having already planned out that, okay, the menu system is going to have home, about us, contact, reviews, and register, right? So you already know that those are the things you want to put on your page. So it's easy already. Now, all you need to do to block out your website is now to just start with, okay, menu bar, and put it there. And then first thing is your home. What do you want to have on your home page? The next thing is about. What do you want to have in your about page? How do you want your about to look like? So it helps your design, not just help with the user experience. It helps your own design. And then when you're now making a design, make it in a way that it will help the user to navigate the page easily. When they come, they can easily just see from the menu, click on where they want to read. They want to read about the company, click about. It takes them straight to the about column, and then they can easily read um, about the company or about the business, about whatever the website is meant for. So when they are supposed to register, they can easily just click register, or contact. They want to visit wherever they want to visit, click on it, and then they will see the page they are looking for. So those are the things we want to put at the back of our mind. Now, you don't create a confusing or inaccessible navigation menu that is making it difficult for many information they need. Now, maybe in the process of you trying to add aesthetics to your website, maybe you put an animation whereby your menu system is not visible until maybe they over their mouse over it, or your menu system is hidden until a user does one particular action and then it animates in and all of that. Yes, it's cool, right? When you do those things, it looks cool, but how does it affect user experience? If a user wants to come online and use your website, is it going to be easy for them to use like that? Are they going to see those things you put there? Are they going to be able to navigate easily? So those are the things you want to put in mind. You don't just want to do things just because you can do them, or just because you know how to do them, but you want to be sure that you are helping your user experience journey. All right. So minimizing clutter and distractions. Now, we already spoke about this when we're talking about pictures. You don't want to put distraction on your page, and you don't want your page to be to have too many elements that will now distract the user. You want to be sure you make use of what your negative space. You want to be sure you make use of right imagery. So you don't want to put things together in a way that are not just visually appealing. You want to arrange everything perfectly. You want to put everything together in a way that looks visually appealing. That when they come and see your web page, they can easily read, no distractions, straight to the point, and things like that. So those are the things you want to ensure you do, minimizing clutter and distraction. If you see that this element is going to create distraction, or is going to reduce the attention on the main thing, take that element out. If you feel like this thing that I'm putting on this website, on this particular page, doesn't really serve any purpose, it's just for aesthetics, and then it's now going to maybe take time for them to even still go through all of that, just take it away. It doesn't hurt to take one thing away and then help user experience to be better. So those are the things you want to put in your mind. Don't don't include unnecessary or distracting elements leading to a cluttered and overwhelming user experience. So, like I said, one thing you want to do is to keep your website clean and free of clutter, allowing your user to focus on the main content. And what you don't want to do is to include unnecessary distractions elements leading to a cluttered and overwhelming user experience. If you don't put this in mind, um, if you don't put this at the back of your mind, right, it's going to be um, a problem at the end of the day for you. So put it at the back of your mind that you want to you want to avoid clutter as much as possible. You want to avoid distraction as much as possible. So this class is going to be fast. We are going to finish earlier today, because after now we are just going to go over everything we've learned before, and then that will be all for the class. The rest is going to be, every other thing is going to be done on Friday, which is the final class, final practical class. So um another do's another do and don'ts that you want to put in your mind is accessibility and inclusivity. Now, you want to ensure that your web page is accessible. We've already talked about this when we're discussing principles of web design. You want to make sure people can use your website from anywhere, and if they are visually impaired, they can use your website too. So all these things are things you want to put in mind. If somebody that is colorblind is visiting your website, are they going to see all white or they are going to see all black? That's another thing you have to that you want to put in your mind when you are making your design, so that when people are visiting your web page, they feel included. They feel like yes, you've put them in you've put them in their mind, in your mind, and then they are included in your whole brand strategy and branding, everything all together. So you want to know that that is very, 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 very important. Inclusivity. You want to ensure that people that are with one disability or the other can easily use your website too. So make sure make your website accessible to all users, including those with disability, by implementing inclusive design principles. Don't create a website that is difficult to navigate or use for people with disability, excluding them from the experience. So that's what I just explained. You want to make sure you put those people in mind when you are designing. Alright, so conclusion now and key takeaways. Number one thing you want to know is focus on creating user-friendly and engaging experience. Ensure your website is accessible for all users, and then pay attention to visual aesthetics and design principles. Now, number one thing is you want to make a a user-friendly and engaging experience. When you are designing, you want the eyes of your user to be glued on the screen from beginning to the end. Immediately your page loads, you don't want the user to take away their eyes for a millisecond. So that's why you have to put your design in a way that they don't have the time to even look away. There's no distraction for a second. There's no reason to want to double check something, because everything has been placed where they're supposed to, and then they don't have to even start figuring out anything, because you've already placed everything the way you're supposed to place them. You've already arranged things the way you're supposed to arrange them. You've already done the basic things you're supposed to do. So those are the important things you want to put in mind. All right, so focus on creating a user-friendly and engaging experience. Let your UI be as simple as possible. Let your um let your let your screen be minimal. Don't overcrowd your page. Make it easy for them to navigate. Make your buttons visible. Make everything where they are supposed to easily access them, so that they don't end up trying to figure out one thing or the other, and then they just get tired of maybe doing anything you want them to do on the website and all of that. So that is very, very, very important. Don't put that at the back of your mind. And then now ensure your website is accessible to all users. Now, when you're what's it called? When you're designing, you want to make sure your design is accessible to everybody. Like I made an example of somebody that is colorblind. You don't put what's it called? You don't make a design that is not visually appealing, or that doesn't have a good color contrast to help people that are colorblind. Even if somebody is colorblind, if you use a very well contrasted colors on your page, they are still going to be able to read perfectly, because what they see is maybe a black and white, or they see lesser colors. They don't have to be able to tell which color is which to be able to read from your web page or get a particular information they're trying to get on your web page. So those things are very, very important. You want to pay attention to visual aesthetics and design principles. We've already talked about design principles. So if you have any issue, you can refer back to those what's it called? Those those principles, so that you don't end up just making a design, but you want to make a design that is visually appealing, that has good aesthetics and all those things. So you want to pay attention to all of these things when you are making your design. So that will be the end of our class. Not necessarily the end, but then um, I want us to understand some things. Okay, when we are designing, everybody can be a web designer, but not everybody can be an outstanding web designer. So you want to be sure that you are not just a regular web designer, but what, an outstanding web designer. All right, I made a mistake closing that. All right, you want to make sure you are not just a web designer, but an outstanding web designer. You want to ensure that your design stand out. Your design shows what you want it to show. Your design does the actual job you want it to do. All right, so those are the things you want to put in at the back of your mind. Okay, so I'm going to share a link with everybody soon, so that that link we have all the slides that we've gone through over this class. And then for those that have not installed XAMPP, or people that have not been following the practicals and everything, I'm going to put a step-by-step guide on how to install XAMPP and how to install your WordPress in XAMPP. I'm going to put a step-by-step guide on it, on the this thing for you, so that everybody can have access to it and then follow along. So if you're for those that are still online, I'm going to share the link very soon. Just give me a few minutes to do that. So please don't go yet. All right, so that you can get all those things, please. And then while I'm doing that, okay, I just saw somebody wants my number so that they can reach out. All right, at the end of the class, I'll give my number out so that you can reach out if you have any problem. Okay, or this is what I'm going to do so that I don't put my information here on the internet. I'm going to tell the admin of the group chat that gives you the link to this web page, to this stream every time, to give, what's it called, to put my phone number there, so that you can get it there, and then and you can reach out to me anytime you want. All right, so I'm going to share the link now with us. I'm going to share the link with us in a moment. The files are uploading so that you can have access to them. So while we are doing that, while we're waiting for that, if you have any question, maybe for the practical class, maybe for one of the classes we've had before, or anything, just write them, please. I want to attend to any questions at all you have, anything at all that is bothering you about web design. Just ask me now, and I will be able to give you answers to them. You've been wanting to know about anything at all, just this is the time. This is the time to ask. Okay, all right, I think that's all. Okay. So I'm waiting. If you have a question, please ask. All right. So I want to assume there's no question and then everybody understands everything. So we are going to continue on on Friday, and then we'll be able to round up this class. I want to believe everyone that have attended from beginning of this class till now have learned a thing or two. Please, if you have learned something from beginning of this class till now, please write it in the comment section. Let me, so that I will know that yes, I've actually impacted knowledge to everybody, and then I not just I've not just been talking and talking and talking. So I want to believe everybody has learned one thing or two. And if you're still confused about anything at all, if you are confused about anything at all, feel free to ask. Um, nothing bad in asking questions. If you're not sure about something, you can ask a question. If you're not sure about anything at all, ask your question. If you have any challenge at all about your web design experience, you can ask. And then I want to ask, for those that have been joining online, have you been able to build anything at all? Have you been able to get your landing page to a certain extent? Because that's what I want to assume. I want to assume everybody now have an idea on how to actually build a web page. All right. So because that's what I'm going to use the remaining of this time to do, to explain to you how um, the tool we are using, how it works and everything. I want to assume that everybody has been able to start a web page, done one thing or the other with their page. Because if you have been doing all of this and then you have not been able to build anything, then I don't know what we have been doing. And like I used to tell the people in class, the physical class, that you don't just um learn how to do something without practicing them. Immediately you stop practicing, right? Immediately you stop practicing, that's the moment the knowledge starts leaving you. So you have to put that at the back of your mind, that you need to what's it called? You need to always work, implement those things you learn. That's another thing that is very, that if you want to take away anything from today's class, that's one thing you should take away. That you need to practice. If you don't practice, everything you learn will become a foreign language to you in little or no time. If you don't practice or implement those things you've learned, it will become a very big problem, because at the end of the day, you will not be able to implement those things again. Why? Because those things have evaporated. All right. So I'm going to display the link now for everybody. So visit that link and download all the resource files for this particular course. I'm not supposed to do this, but at least this will help you and guide you through your design journey. Anytime you need anything, you can always refer back to one of these slides and get a thing or two from it. So if you visit this website now, you visit this link now, you'll be able to download the step-by-step this thing guide to download on how to download and install XAMPP and get your WordPress installed in your XAMPP. So that's the step-by-step guide, and then all the slides that I've used to teach and explain the principles of web design to you, all the slides are going to be there. So all these things are what matters and what you're going to be referring to when you're designing, when you're doing your day-to-day job later. All right. So okay, somebody said my menu is showing triple. All right, there are so many things that could have gone wrong. Number one thing that could go wrong is maybe you did not, maybe you did not, maybe when you were creating the menu, you saved it multiple times, or instead of creating your custom links, you were creating multiple menus. All right, so those are the things that could go wrong. Or you maybe duplicated your container. That could go wrong too. So what you want to do is click on the menu from your design screen, click on it and delete. If all the three delete, then undo it and then go back to your menu screen. There's a place where you're supposed to go to, where you can go to your menu screen from the left hand side. From there, you can, when you click on go to menu screen, you can manage your menu from there. So you will see everything that you put on your menu there. So you see everything that is there, then you can now remove the excess ones. If you get to that menu screen, you see that everything you put there are multiple. So you can click on each one. When you click on one, you will see something like remove, edit and all that. You just click on remove and remove that particular one. Then other things like that are going to be, the remaining, you just leave the remaining and click save menu. When you click save menu, go back to your page, it should be fixed. I believe that should solve it. So as everybody click this link and download the files that are there. They will help you in your day-to-day activities and all of that. So please I'm begging you, do not what's it called, do not leave this knowledge that you've been learning. Do not waste the knowledge. Do not just play with it. Make sure you work every time. If you don't do it, it's going to definitely leave you. So if we have any other question, please ask now. If you don't, please, we are going to see on Friday. So I'm going to wait for a few more minutes for 12 so that we can end the stream by then, and then we'll see on Friday. All right, so if you still have any other question, please don't hesitate to ask. All right. So if there's no question, if there's no um any other thing, please, um that will be the end of our class. That will be the end of this course online, and then we'll see on Friday to conclude our practical class. Please, everything we've learned so far, implement it. Make sure you've built your website to a certain extent so that by Friday I can show you how to complete it and how to host your website. So um that will be all for today, and I'm going to see you on Friday. So do have a good one, everybody. Have a good week ahead. Bye.